Hi divers, and welcome back to another scuba diving accident video. And today we're going to be reacting to 102m scuba dive air 102m scuba air dive nitrogen narcosis. Which there's lots of red flags already in that title if we want to break it down really quickly and easily. So the first one is that he's going down to 102 meters on air. If you know anything about diving on air, you shouldn't be going beyond any from 66 meters if you're doing a technical dive. And obviously, even though in recreational maximum is 40 meters, technically you can go down on air to 56 meters on an actual recreational dive, but you shouldn't because maximum is 40 meters. But hypothetically, 56 is the maximum for recreational divers. So straight away he's going way beyond the 66 meter threshold, which is not good because you have a high risk of oxygen toxicity. But the second one is nitrogen narcosis. Strictly speaking, it's not nitrogen narcosis. I know because my namesake's Narked Tom. Narked is another word for gas narcosis, because the actual thing is it's called gas narcosis, not nitrogen narcosis. From what we understand of it now, it's not just the nitrogen that affects how we think and how we act. It's actually the other gases too, like the oxygen and other stuff going on there. So already a bit red flaggish. I also just quickly checked the description, and I'll be honest, I put it there so you guys can have a look at it now, but there's not a lot of information there. It's just what stuff he's using. But it doesn't really give me anything particularly about what kind of cylinders he's using, what blends of gases he's using maybe on his extra tanks, if he has extra tanks. It's just what equipment he's using, and I'll be honest, I don't think any brand wants to sponsor someone who's diving this recklessly. But with that out of the way, let's jump into the video and see if it goes as badly as I think it's going to go. I'm really worried he's going to get convulsion, but we'll soon see. So he's in Greece. I've never dived actually in Greece, so I'd like to know how it is over there, but looks pretty enough. 19 degrees, so mild. A bit cooler than I'd like personally, because I'm a warm water person, but honestly for Europe, that's pretty good. I think 19 is. And he's going to descend now. So I believe this is a solo dive looking at it there at the moment, which adds more risk. It's not that you can't dive solo, it's just that you have to have more backups, and if things go wrong, you don't have someone else to look out for you. And because we know he's on air and he's going to go beyond the 66 meters, he's not got someone to look after him if he does get a convulsion. Visibility 10 to 12 meters, that's quite good conditions really. I always find it hard to know what the actual visibility is when he's into blue like this until you get a reference so you can gauge your actual visibility. But it seems like a smooth descent. Very steady breathing. I'm assuming that he doesn't show his computer on screen, it's going to just keep popping up occasionally like that and just tell us what's going on. And he's using like his computer's log to actually tell us time-wise what's happening at each depth. But yeah, I'm also not going to press pause during this whole video because it's a fairly long video as it is, and I probably have enough time to just talk about his topics, even though things are probably changing. And I don't want to make the video even longer than it already is. So 40, so he's now beyond recreational limits. You start to see some loss of the bottom. So I'm guessing this is not the actual max depth if you can see this, unless the visibility got a lot better, which wouldn't be normally the case. All areas comprised of consecutive walls. Oh, is that like steps then? I'm imagining that's like some sort of steps kind of thing, like different ridges and you go off. Yeah, giant steps. Some mooring lines there, so gotta be careful of entanglement hazards. Again, you've got no one else with you, and hopefully has a dive knife in case of entanglement, but it is one of the things that a bit more sketchy. Edge of the second wall, 61 meters. So he's already almost at the maximum what he should be on air already. So absolutely wild. Skip the first one. Torch coming out. Torch is a good idea if you're going to deeper, because obviously less light penetrates deeper down you go in the ocean. So having a torch is always handy, as long as there's a reference so the light can hit something like the wall there. Okay, so I'm gonna start ascending because it's a bit higher. To the left there is a small canyon, max depth is 73 meters, okay. So not the best profile, I'll just say right now. He's gone down and now he's having to go up because he's bad navigation. I assume he's gone the wrong way, so he needs to like correct us now. So he's going down and then up. But on the bright side, he's now still within depth limits for air, which is great. Okay. A bit confused about the direction. So one of the things you can actually get with gas narcosis is disorientation. It just affects how you think. So you have to think, remember, like what he's seeing right now, he's definitely going to be starting to feel it. Yeah, he's saying right now. So he's not going to have the best perception. He's going to have not the best decision making. I personally get the giggles hit me quite hard. I get kind of very euphoric on nitrogen narcosis, or gas narcosis, sorry. But it can do a lot of things. People make bad decisions on this stuff. They had bad coordination. It's a whole myriad of issues, and it affects everyone differently. So it's very important that you understand it yourself and respect it, and don't try and be like that person going, oh, I don't feel gas narcosis. They're usually the ones who get into more trouble. If you're aware that you have it, they can work hard to try and overcome the issues. But realistically, if he's trying to do his dive properly, he should just be on trimix, because trimix actually is not a narcotic gas. So he's now continuing the descent from this point onwards. Anyway, back to the point. Trimix is not a narcotic gas, so you wouldn't actually have this problem right now being narked. Also, it allows you to go deeper. And another thing is that it's also less dense of a gas. So it doesn't have the issues that he's probably going to experience as he goes deeper, that the air's going to get harder and harder to breathe. So this is the max he's just hit now, the 1.6. So if you are doing it with 1.6 PO2, if you think back to your nitrox triangle, I'll put it on screen, you have 1.6 as your maximum there. You're around 0.21 for your gas blend because it's air. So your max depth is actually going to be 7.666 recurring, which is in atmospheres. So when you convert that to meters, that's 66 meters max, and that's his hard one. So right now he's in territory of getting oxygen toxicity, which can cause him to have a convulsion. And because he's on his own, if he suddenly starts convulsing, having a seizure underwater, essentially, he will basically spit out his regulator. No one can actually be there to save him. He also can hear the computer bleeping a little bit. That's telling him that he's gone beyond depth. So right now it's saying, like, you've gone beyond the PO2, you need to start shallowing up. But he's just ignoring it flat out. So this is just very scary, because any minute he probably could have a convulsion, he might start coughing. As I say, no one could be there. So if he had a buddy with him and he starts convulsing, they could put the regulator in his mouth and actually help him to get back to the surface without his regulator falling out of his mouth and drowning. But because he's solo right now, this is even more gambling. At this point, you should just look to shallow up. Should not try and go deeper right now. This is super dangerous. It's kind of just like gambling with your life right now. It's not even like sensible at all in any way. Some people would say like almost like a suicide dive kind of thing. Like the deeper you go, it's kind of like playing Russian roulette. And each time you go like a bit deeper, you put another bullet into the chamber, and increasing the odds that you could die. This is nuts. You can hear there the strain on the breathing too. He's literally sipping it like the air, because it's now this depth, it's like 10 atmospheres of pressure. The air is 10 times more dense than it is on the surface, so it's a lot harder to breathe. Hand movement there. I'm guessing that's probably a bit of narcosis kicking in, a bit disorientated feeling maybe. He probably is just absolutely frazzled his brain right now, by the way, just from like the narcosis. That computer just keeps going and beeping. It's warning him, but he's just ignoring it. Maybe he thinks it's like a PB alarm going, oh, we got deeper this time, dude. You got deeper. It's not good. I say 66 is the hard cut-off. That is, by the way, on an average person. It's done to like what the average diver could do. So technically, if you're fitter, you could go deeper. And this is where this arrogance comes into it. Some people go, oh, I can go beyond limits. Got to 100s. But they think they can go beyond that limit and not get the convulsion. But it's just so sketchy. Dude, just stop. Stop trying to go deeper. The thing is as well, there's nothing actually down here. Usually if you go to a depth, there's an objective, like you want to get to a certain wall, you want to get to a certain wreck, there's something there. There's nothing here for him to actually see. It's just sandy bottom. And here at the bottom then, at this point I'm severely narked and struggling to maintain correct buoyancy control. This is not good. This just to see how deep you can physically get before potentially dying. This is just so stupid. Okay, I think he's starting his ascent now, hopefully. Cough. That's convulsion starting. Damn, that PO2's high. He needs to yeah, good. He's starting to ascend. Hopefully he doesn't go too fast. He's made a lot of silt. You can see like he's churned up the actual stuff. In a weird way, it's kind of created a reference for himself to know which direction to go back, I guess. But at this point, you might as well just go straight up, basically. Like, not straight up, obviously do stops because you're doing a deco dive at this point. But don't try and do return dive. Just better just to focus on your ascent and look at your computer. Make sure you go at a nice steady rate to get to your next stop, and then do that for the right amount of time, like the computer's telling you. Hopefully he has enough pressure to work with. That's the thing we don't know. I don't know what setup he's on, if he's got twin tanks, if he's got a single tank. Hopefully he's on at least twins with big cylinders with high litre volumes. Hopefully he's got some extra stages, so when he gets to certain stops, he can actually switch to higher oxygen blends. I followed the wrong direction. this point, just go up. It's just, it doesn't matter about staying near the wall, just go upwards. It's a lot safer at this point. And he's just disorientated as hell. You can just see he has no idea where he's going. He's descending again. 96 now. That was 92 a second ago. This is, if he keeps going deeper, this is really bad. I'm just so worried. He could have a convulsion at any minute. We heard him cough a second ago. I realised my mistake and head to the correct direction towards the shore. Dude, just go up. I say, this is kind of like watching, like, not a thriller, but like a horror movie almost. It's like, you're edgy seat, like thinking, oh my god, is he going to make it? Because I'm assuming he is, because he's uploaded the footage, unless this is like someone uploaded it for him. But this is just absolutely wild. Jesus, just get out of the water. He's ascending again, thankfully, but I don't know how long his deco stop's going to have to be for this, by the way. And the weirdest part is, if he was on trimix, like I said before, with the helium in his blend, this would all be completely fine. The sniper would completely chill. He would be able to go down without any narcosis. He would be able to not be worrying about his PO2. He would also be thinking about not having to strain his breathing because the gas would be less dense. You just keep it still beeping at him. Just, you need to get up, but it's got deeper again. I was 81 now. I was going to say, he has just completely lost all orientation of depth and everything. Jeez. The thing is, as well, when it comes to his dives, time is the biggest factor. So the longer he stays on its depth, the more time he's going to have to do it on his deco stops. If he is going to do deco stops. But are you regaining control? I don't think so. But using his BCD for a bit more lift. Hopefully he's not going to go too fast though by inflating his BCD. So this is one that's missed, by the way, seeing his mind's getting clearer. Yes, it will. Your gas narcosis will get relieved a bit by ascending, but it doesn't go away straight away. And especially at this step, you'll still be getting knocked to quite a high degree. He just probably was completely gone though at that depth on air, which is understandable. I know what I'm like, just in the 40s sort of thing with it. Seeing this is at 100, yikes! So this is the point where basically him staying down at this depth now, he needs to really think about ascending, because this could be permanent damage to his body. This could be damage to his brain, to his spine, to his central nervous system. You know what CNS stands for. But this is super worrying that he's already hit a 100 this soon. Like, how far into the video? 10 minutes into the video and he's already maxed it out. Jeez. The fact he's just not ascending, he keeps going up and down like a yo-yo. It's gone deeper again. I don't know if he's trying to get back to the wall to have a reference. Yeah, he's following the bottom. So I don't think I think he's so disorientated to be in the blue because there's no reference in the blue, and you'd have to fully. Don't touch the reef. But in the blue, you don't have a reference, so it's hard to see where you're going. And because of that, he kept going up and down. Well, at least now we can just kind of follow it up. And it looks like he's going to climb his whole way up along the reef, which is never good. Obviously, not soft corals and stuff. It looks like more rocky and stuff, but it's not good to do. There could be marine life in there. It could be disturbing it. So don't touch the reef. But as I say, he's completely frazzled right now. So I think he's just going to survival mode, just climb his way out this dive. But hopefully he's going to do some stops, because he's going to have a lot of nitrogen absorbed into all his tissues from going this deep and for this time limit. I think like if he did it without stops, he's going to definitely get the bends, even have some serious damage to his body with the bubbling in the tissues, even in the brain potentially could happen at this kind of stage for going this deep. So it could even be fatal if he skips all his stops. But the one thing I say in his favour is that he's breathing steady and he's going up quite steady as well. So he's going up at safe-ish rates to some extent. And yeah, it's one of the things about, I just got to hope that he actually has enough gas to complete this dive, and he has stages when he gets to those shallow points to help reduce his deco time and reduce the stop time, but also have extra pressure and gas to work with, so he's not going to run out. But he is having a steady ascent now. I would say obviously it's not good to be climbing up the reef, but he's, I'd say, still very heavily narked, so not great. Just keeps touching that reef. So now he's back to 66. So this is what his PO2 max should have been anyway. Yeah. Shame you've gone way beyond it for like the last 10 minutes, but... Oh my gosh. This guy. He's going to hit his head on the reef here. Yep. It's like, he's super narc still. He's super disorientated. He's not fully focusing with it. Luckily, he's realised he needs to ascend and get out of there, but he should have never gone to that depth in the first place. That was so risky. If anything went wrong, there's no one to look after him. There's nothing to happen there. It is just like a one-way ticket to dying. And as I said before, it's because people think, oh, I could go a bit beyond 66 because I'm a bit healthier. I'm different. I'm built different.
Different how? What's up? No, you just tell me you're built different. You look very normal to me. Bro, I'm a different breed. Of what, a chinchillas?
I'm special. He thinks he's David Martinez from Cyberpunk Edge Runners, if you get that reference. But simply put, if you don't get that reference, it's a guy who thought he's special, and it comes back to bite him, because he wasn't special. And that's the kind of thing here. See, people think, oh, I'm actually built different, I could do these things, which other people can't. And he's just super lucky, realistically. It's not that he is amazing, it's just super, super lucky. And again, I'm scared that he's going to try and repeat doing this, go even further next time, if he does make it out of this. That's the problem with this. In fact, he's uploaded it online as well. It seems like a look what I've achieved kind of vibe, which is not good. And again, I'm worried that other people who watch this kind of video are going to get inspired by it to actually reproduce it themselves. So, oh, I can do this. And no, it just ends badly. It's slower or just stay slightly below ceiling depth. So I'm guessing he's going to do a stop around this kind of depth, surely, 50 meters. Hopefully. But we'll see. But yeah, I hope this doesn't inspire people. If you are someone who doesn't understand scuba diving and just watching this is super dumb and reckless and very easily could end up with him dying. So don't be inspired by this. This is terrible diving practice. But yeah. Is he just distracted by the fish because he's so not like, look at the fish. I wonder if they're talking to him.
Hey pal, you just blowing from Stupid Town?
It's like the fish, they speak to me right now. Dear. I'm surprised he hasn't done a stop at some point, but maybe, I don't know what the plan actually is. Maybe he doesn't even have a dive plan. Hopefully the computer's told him what he can do, but he just seems to steadily just keep ascending. But I'm hoping there's going to be a stop somewhere along this. The fact is as well though, the video is only, I believe, 30 minutes long. So that's not going to cover the whole stop. So I don't know if it's going to show him get back to the surface. And if that's the case, I'm seriously worrying how bad his DCS is going to be. But if he is going to stop, it probably might just cut the stops out maybe. But we'll see. Again, there also there's lots of line here, so potential entanglement problems, especially because he's crawling along the bottom, keeps touching the bottom. If he gets entangled, he could be in serious trouble because he's on his own, pretty narked, not thinking straight. This could go horribly wrong as well. So, because again, he's not on it with someone, if he gets entangled and he can't get to a knife or cutting device, or might not even have a cutting device, he could be in a lot of trouble here. But I think he's using it to stop here. Is he stopping it? This is where he's choosing to stop. It's not really moving much up again at the moment. But I can't believe how lucky he was not to have a serious convulsion that deep on air. Very, very fortunate. Let's go actually back on the convulsion point actually. There's no lead up to getting a convulsion, it just happens out of nowhere. That's kind of the more terrifying part about having oxygen toxicity and having a convulsion. There's no warning, it just suddenly happens, you start seizuring, and there's not really much you can do about it. So, and usually when it happens, people's regulators fall out of their mouths and they drown. That's just what happens. So without a buddy there to keep that regulator in the mouth, he would be stuffed. And yeah, it's just one of those really unfortunate situations that he really was just being super reckless how deep he's going beyond the limits and just see what happens. So I think he is just having like a mini rest really at his depth. He is still ascending slightly, but it is kind of acting a bit like a stop. But I have no idea what his deco he's actually owed for this because he went up and down so much, but I imagine it to be quite a long wait he's meant to have. And hopefully his computer is actually going to be able to tell him what he needs to do for each stop. And this has got quite a long video, and I almost like tempted to cut it here, but I feel like I just want to know if he does get out of his dive somehow. But the time limit for the video just doesn't make sense to me. Like, surely he'd have such a long deco stops for it to be done. But I'm just not sure if he's going to do deco stops. Oh, we can have a look at the computer a bit there. Checking my flash. Oh yeah, I forgot he had a flashlight. Why are you checking that right now? There's no need for it. You can see it clearly. But what happened? He got it out at one point and it just went away, and I forgot about it. Even having a flashlight. So I guess he is still probably a bit narc faced checking it right now. Like, oh, does it still work? Just probably came to mind out of nowhere. Or is he thinking about doing a swim through? Is that a swim through there, or is it just like a cave or something? Yeah, there, it's swim through. I wonder, is he getting the torch out? Oh, look, I'll swim through that casually right now. Forget that I need to get out of the dive and look after myself and do whatever. Let's just do a quick swim through for the camera. Low tank pressure alarm, my twin set reached 50 bar. So that's a quarter of his maximum pressure. So that's getting low. I will soon switch to my... Oh, so he does have deco stages, so that's good. So he's not just solely relying on his twin tank having air. So at least we know then he was on twin tanks and that. And there clearly is maybe a little bit of a plan. Not a good plan, obviously, because you shouldn't plan to go this deep on air, but similarly, he has a level of a plan we know now. Stop touching the refit. Like, this is actually like some level of corals. Just because of the coloration, by the way, if you had more of a white light shine on that, it'd probably be a lot more colourful, that corals would be. And you see the fish around it, probably a good ecosystem. So touching this stuff's not good. Quick selfie. Hey guys, I made it! So is he stopping at 35? Is that going to be one of his stops? I just don't know what his stops really are. It's just... It's going back deeper again. Maybe it is a stop. Maybe he's just drifting a little bit in between it. But yeah, he's just... I think he's definitely slowly getting his narcosis out of his system, but he still looks super disorientated the way he's diving and stuff still. Ironically, still probably not the worst diver I've seen on these things, just like technique-wise. Obviously, trying to execute this dive is such a dumb idea and probably the most reckless thing I've seen, but actually technique-wise, he's probably in trim, he's got good breathing, steady breathing. He didn't freak out, even though things were definitely going a bit weird and the narcosis was kicking in. But judgment-wise and stuff he's doing is dumb. Again, touching this line, which he could get entangled in, so this is stuff he should be keeping a good distance away from, because if he gets accidentally entangled in this, that could be super dangerous for him, especially if he's only got a limited amount of pressure to work with between all his tanks. And I don't know what actually the deco tank is, the actual percentage, because he might not be able to switch to it yet until he gets to a certain depth. So we don't know that yet. So if he gets entangled, he's only got that 50 or less now bar remaining in the twin tanks, and running out of air becomes a big issue. This is just absolutely zany. Yeah, I don't think there's much more to say so far about this. Like, just don't go to this depth limit on air. If you did this all on trimix, this dive would have been completely fine and just very simple to watch. But we've seen straight away, this is why you just don't do this kind of dive. It's just silly. I say, some people would probably look at it as like a death wish. He's trying to just kill himself by doing this kind of dive because it's just so reckless. And again, I don't understand what the actual goal was. It just to see how deep he could go? Was it to... Because there's nothing really at that depth. There was just a sandy bottom. There wasn't any interesting corals. There wasn't like an interesting wall. It just was a sandy bottom. And I feel like it's just like see how far I can go and test his limits. And there's been plenty of divers in the past who try to push their PO2 to see how far they can go on and stuff like this. And spoiler, it ends badly for them. He's just one of the lucky ones who clearly got away with this. But it goes terribly wrong. I believe that one guy who in the blue hole, what's his name, Yuri? He was someone who did the same sort of thing. He tried to go beyond his limits on air, and it didn't end well for him. He'd end up dying on the dive, and he had to get his body fetched by another diver. I think it was Tarek Omar who actually fetched his body and whatnot, because he did the same sort of thing as this, and did it just super recklessly. it's just not smart to do at all. I don't know why you grabbed a rock there. Don't take rocks and stuff out of the ocean, by the way, just leave what you found. Has it got to 22? That must be an error. Because he didn't move at all. It just... That's weird, it said 22. Oh, 29. That must have been a typo on screen then. 29.9, so he's below 30 now. So 100 feet for the Americans. By the way, I'm not very good at these super deep conversions, so that's why I've not been doing it in my head. I'll put it on screen though in the post, so you guys know what the actual depth are in feet the whole time when it pops up on screen for you guys for your viewing pleasure. Which you probably would have known by now because you've watched this video. But yeah, so is this a stop now? 30 meters? Maybe. This would be a good place to have a stop, I guess. The wiggling kind of suggests maybe he's changing tanks. I'm just assuming maybe he's swapping to Deco tank right now. Yeah, okay, gas switch alarm, switching to Nitrox 40. So Nitrox 40, if you guys don't know, is what you use when it's for 30 meters and shallower, or 100 feet and shallower. So yeah, he's using the right tank. So weirdly enough, it seems like he did plan this. There's a level of planning involved. Again, dumb to think you go to air to 100 meters. That's bad planning, but at least for the deco side of things, maybe. Hopefully he's just got large enough deco tanks for it. Maybe he has even a higher one for when he gets even shallower, maybe like an 80% or 100% oxygen tank to switch to there. Oof. Just to my stage cylinder hose, because that's why he wiggled a bit there. But yeah, it's really important, by the way, to have these kind of deco tanks because they're going to help you actually have shorter deco time on your deco stages. It can like half the time you're required to do, and that way then it just means the dive's a lot shorter and you don't have to have as much gas, obviously, because yeah, you're going to be down there less time. So I don't think it's going to show the whole deco stop then, looking at this right now, because I'm sure this stop needs to be longer. He's still kind of ascending though, it's not really holding depth for stops, which is weird. So I was saying he has some level of plan, but it seems like a very loose plan, almost. But yeah, super cowboy kind of dive. Do not do this at home, or when I say home, I mean your home reef or where you go diving normally. Do not do this. This is a terrible idea, and you probably won't end up like this guy who got super lucky, because this all comes down to luck at the end of the day here. If he had a convulsion out of nowhere, this could have been a whole different video. But I will say, in a off-topic kind of thing right now, the reef looks kind of pretty in the shallows. Like, I don't get what he was going down to those depths for, because deeper it didn't look very nice, but now it looks all right. It looks kind of interesting. It looks like it'd be interesting to kind of go along here, look at the little fish, look at the interesting corals, maybe with your torch, look for some cool critters. Yeah, it looks nice. If you guys dived in Greece before, or even been to this dive site, let me know, and let me know more info about it, because I'd love to hear more about this. Hopefully it hasn't been ruined by this guy touching it everywhere, but it is what it is. Do not be this guy. But on the right side, just glad looks like he's going to make out safely. I reached the exit point. The rest of the dive is just me swimming around to finish my decompression. So yeah, maybe it's just this one deco stop he does then at this depth, and he has only one deco stage. Oh, it's just fast forwarding it now. This looks like 4 times speed, I want to say? I can't tell. But yeah, he keeps touching everything though. Jesus. Stop doing that. But yeah, I think we kind of covered all of it, which is kind of nice thing about one of these long videos. I can just talk and get everything off my chest about it. But jeez, do not do what this guy does. If you want to do a dive like this, learn how to do technical diving, learn to use trimix, use trimix on said dives then, and then you're safely within your limits. I say, it's just so stupid this was. It's one of those dives which, he's clearly a capable diver. So just why did he do this? Just to try and prove that he's built different, or he can act. Ooh, little wreck. Yeah, it just makes no sense to me, this does. Don't push your limits, because this could be a completely different video we could have watched. I don't know why the sound just sounds so funny sped up. Yeah, I think this is kind of where I'm going to leave the video now, guys. If you think I missed anything else out or things I should have added, please leave a comment down below and add more to it. I'm a technical diver but not a technical instructor, so I might not explain things as best as I could or not with as much information as I should have. So if there's anything else you want to add or things I missed what he did recklessly as well, feel free to leave that comment down below. And if you did find the video interesting or helpful in any way, please give it a like. It helps me out a ton, but help other divers find this video too. And if you want to see more from myself, Narked Tom, feel free to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell notification icon to get notified when I post my next video. Anyway, divers, I hope you have an awesome and safe dives, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.